All right, welcome everybody to our Hard Rock Club Athletic Luncheon today. We have some coaches and then of course some special guests, our student athletes. So first, a big thank you to Pizza Ranch for sponsoring us and hosting us here. Couple athletes of the week sponsored by X-Rock, which is 101.1 and 103.5. We have Jaden Johansson, who's our quarterback for our football team. He threw for 18 for 31 and 166 yards in the air, ran 11 times for 72 yards rushing. And we also have Allison Hayden, who's our cross-country runner. She had a top 5 finish over at Spearfish at the Black Hills State Meet. She checked in at 21 minutes, 11.3 seconds. So top 5 finish for her. So those are our athletes of the week. And we also have, I don't want to take anything away, but we have a really exciting person. Kyante Christian was the defensive player of the week for the RMAC, and he is going to talk to us a little bit later when football comes up. So we're really excited to have him here. Fun player to watch, number 45 if you 49. I said 45. Sorry, 49 if you don't know who that is. My bad. Some big things going on. It's kind of the busiest week of the whole entire year for the Hard Rock Club. We have our Golf Classic on Friday, of course our Hall of Fame induction on Saturday, and then football game at 4 p.m. kickoff, and then 2 p.m. The ramp spots will open, and I do expect a packed house for that game, so get there early and come and enjoy. I think the weather is going to cooperate and be beautiful. Our next in-person lunch will be in 2 weeks. That'll be October 5th on a Tuesday in the Christensen Hall of Fame, sponsored this time by Pita Pit. So come on, you can try some Pita Pit this time. But our Hall of Fame inductees this year are Bill Brodsky, who's a football player back in the day and also a builder, been very instrumental in scholarship help for our football program. So he is getting inducted. Volleyball player who was a libero, Jenny Heichel. We're kind of excited to have her back. Hugh Welsh, if you followed the men's basketball program for an awful long time, everybody knows who Hugh Welsh is. And the 91-92 men's basketball team. And if you guys are familiar with Mitch Slazarski in town, that was his team. He was the point guard for, and very, very solid team back in the day. And that was when I first started school, so I was privileged enough to get to watch them play on the court. So with that being said, I am going to turn it over to Ryan, and we'll start it off with soccer for the week.
Hello. All right, soccer. Rough last 3 games for us. The last time I saw you guys in person, we were getting ready to head down to Texas. We made that trip and it was hot. It was 100 degrees each game, a ton of humidity, not something that we're really used to. Didn't go our way. First game against Texas A&M International. Went down 1-0, came back, tied it up, showed that grittiness that we showed in the first weekend. Proceeded to get scored on 2 more times, probably 15 minutes later. Fought all the way through to the end, scored a goal with about 10 minutes left, and then hit the crossbar with 40 seconds left, about an inch away from tying the game, sending it to overtime. Happy with how we played, especially given the adversity that we had to face with the travel, the heat, limited roster size. Happy with that game. Flip into the Saturday game against St. Mary's. Traveled from Laredo to San Antonio that morning. Again, another really hot, humid day. And we could tell that it was affecting our guys, just not having the amount of subs that we typically had. When we're at home or when we're taking a bus somewhere, really affected us. Ended up losing that game 3-1. George Martinez continued his tally on the year. He's our leading goal scorer. Josh, do you know how many goals he has? 4 goals on the year. So we get back from Texas and we have a quick turnaround. Get back Saturday or Sunday afternoon, and then we go play MSU Billings at home. It's a game that we had really high hopes for. We thought, we scouted them out well enough. Thought we could finally beat them for the first time in program history. Unfortunately, it just didn't go our way. Started off strong, scored within the first 15 minutes, and then from there, just the legs went out from underneath us, and They ended up scoring 5 unanswered goals. We got one back at the end and ended up losing 5-2. So it was a tough 3-game stretch for us. Really good opponents that we faced. And that was something that when we came into the season, we knew that those teams were going to be tough. We knew that they battle with the top half of our conference. They're all teams that we really want to compete with because we know if we can compete with them, then the RMAC season, we have a good idea of when we face Colorado Mines or Mesa or Regis. Unfortunately, we just had them 3 games in a row, all really good, talented teams. So didn't go how we wanted it to, but we're looking to rebound Friday, 1 p.m. against Colorado Christian down in Denver, and then Sunday, 2 p.m. down in Denver against Adams State. 2 teams that we've had pretty decent success against. We've had a ton of scouting on them. The guys are ready, they're fired up. We took last Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off, so we're 10 games out, or we're 10 days out. On Friday we'll be 10 days out of our last game. Give the guys some time to kind of recoup and get healthy again and get ready to go into our last 2 non-conference games before we start our actual conference season the following weekend. So we're looking forward to get down to Denver and proving what we can do, and hopefully we come back and we're 3-3-1 on the year. Any questions? Yes.
Out of curiosity, is it common for them to come up to Denver to meet you, or
Adams State?
Yeah.
It was a little kind of tournament that CCU had put together. With how the conference has shifted, and before we used to play certain teams one time and then other teams twice. Now we went to just playing every team once. So there's a little bit of a gentleman's agreement on playing people that were in kind of your pod in a non-conference game. So that's why CCU had set it up, just kind of eliminate travel costs, and it's a lot easier to get to Denver than it is to Alamosa. So anything else? All right, thank you.
All right, well, we went over to Black Hills State on Friday night. Fortunately for us, it was not 100 degrees. It would have been kind of brutal otherwise, but the head coach at Black Hills decided he was going to try and figure out in August when sunset was going to be, and so he was literally working back, okay, if they run this many minutes, then all of that kind of stuff, so that we could try to miss as much of the heat as possible. It worked out pretty well. We actually, literally the sun was setting as the last guys were coming across the finish line. Really, really fun environment to be in. Their course is on the back 9 of their golf course. If you've ever been out there, you know that back 9 just goes like this. So basically what they do is they start out, they run downhill about 150 yards, hit the bottom there by the bike path, turn and come right back up that thing, and they get to the top and they go down the other side, and this time they go out about maybe half a mile and turn around the trees and come right back up, and they do that. The ladies do it 2.5 times and the guys did it 3 times. Ladies race kicked things off. We knew on both sides we kind of held out some people, so we actually held out most of our top 5 on the women's side with the idea that it would give us a little bit more time to train. The bulk of where we need to be performing is really in October, and so to try to keep fresh legs on people, we opted not to race most of that top 5. I did opt to race most of our freshmen, and that's where Allison came in, and then Margaret Thompson, one of our seniors, we threw in there as well because she wasn't ready at the home meet. And so gave Allison the goal going into the meet of just starting out with Margaret and then see what she could do in the back half of the race. And was really hoping that it being a little bit smaller field that she would really start to open up. I think it was a good confidence builder for her. It worked out pretty well. Obviously the 5th place finish is fantastic, especially considering MSU Billings came down and their team would have matched up really well with us head to head. if we had the full team there. So so it was really, really encouraging to see her come out and do that. And then Margaret finished right behind her as well. So a couple of really good signs there for what our top 7 is going to look like as we go forward. On the men's side, it was a heck of a race up front. Tim Dunham and Ace Ackerman from MSU Billings were basically duking it out the entire time. If you remember, Tim found himself in one of these runners duels a couple weeks ago too. So far he is 0-2 in them, unfortunately, but he makes it interesting every time, and that's an important and encouraging step right now. The other thing that was important is, so the way that our qualifying for individuals for nationals goes is that they look starting at a certain date, which happened to be last Thursday. Any meet, just any race of 7K or longer, then anyone that you lose to, that then could become fodder to help keep you out of the national meet. So even though he lost to this guy because the race was 6K, no harm is done. So that's actually a good thing for us. It's kind of a wonky system. We're still fine-tuning it, but it's what we have right now. For the rest of our men, we did the same thing as the women, kind of picked and chose who raced. We've kind of been dealing with a lot of the colds that have been going around. I know the other coaches in here know exactly what I'm talking about. It's been pretty brutal on some people. Some people, it's literally taking them to their knees, this cold that's going around right now. And so we kind of picked and chose, and I think we had the right guys in there for this weekend, and they ran pretty well. We were second on both sides, which is nothing to sneeze at when we're dealing with RMAC and GNAC competition. The GNAC is one of the other top conferences in the country, so we can be happy with what we got done. And then this week on Friday, I'm taking 3 guys out to Wayne State to compete out there. The reason I'm taking them there instead of racing last weekend is purely about the race distance. So with Black Hills running a 6K, our championship race distance is 10K. I want to make sure that these guys get an extra 8K under their belts, just so that when we show up at Fort Hays here in a couple weeks, and it is going to count big time against us, that we're ready to go, that these guys have had enough experience with that 8K distance, and that we're not adding 10 more minutes to their run time when it matters. So that's kind of an important moment for us. Today I've got Addie Wilson with me, if you want to come on up, Addie. And Addie is a junior for us. I'll let her introduce herself, but Addie's a fun one because she's kind of been all over the place in terms of her level of success. She's had some injuries off and on, but we really look forward to getting done with her, and she's working her tail off right now. So sharing some Pizza Ranch.
I went to the wrong Pizza Ranch, so I was in the other parking lot for 10 minutes before Coach called me and was like, "Where are you?" So my name is Addie. I'm a junior here. I'm studying computer science with 2 minors in mathematics and computational stats. I am originally from Aurora, Colorado, and I came to Mines for 2 reasons, the academics and the athletics. Academically, I knew this college was going to be rigorous. I knew the professors were going to be hard, walking into classes. I knew freshman year, I spoke here 2 years ago for the Hard Rocker Club, and I've had some time to reflect on my journey over these 3 years of how I chose my career, how I chose my major and everything. And now I can, if you asked me 2 years ago and said, "Hey, what do you want to do with computer science?" I would have said, "I have no idea." And this year I finally solidified what I want to do with it in three degrees of artificial intelligence. I want to go into database, and I want to go into virtual reality. So if you would have asked me that 2 years ago, you would have gotten the response of, "I have no idea." So there's a lot of improvement that's happened in academics-wise. You always have your teammates pushing you on, which brings me to my athletic career. In high school, I wasn't in a condition to run for a collegiate school. Coach Johnson graciously gave me the opportunity to become a student athlete. and I'm very grateful for it. It's pushed me to my boundaries both in the classroom and out of the classroom. One of my favorite things as being an athlete, a student athlete, is the things we get done behind the scenes, behind a race. It's not just showing up to a race, getting ready to go, it's also the preparation that goes in behind. I know, as Coach mentioned, I've been on an injury track since my freshman year. I ended up in a medical boot, spent about 11 months in recovery, taking it very slow, taking lots of time on the bike, having to learn how to trust the program. And so, athletically, Coach has really been helping us maintain that we're healthy and we're ready for our competitions, especially when it comes down to the big games, such as Fort Hayes, the conference at Golden this year, and coming into Texas for regionals. And so you'll see teammates even academically, they're pushing you both in the classroom and off on the field. You'll have teammates like Margaret Thompson, she'll be doing lectures on the bike. She'll be grading, heading down to practice like at 6 in the morning. And so you always have those teammates that are always supporting you and pushing you to the best of your ability. So those are two major reasons of why I came to Lions.
Questions?
Wait, what high school did you go to?
I went to Cherokee Trail High School in Aurora, Colorado.
I went to Eagle Crest.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was my home school actually.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a rival.
Yeah. Small world.
Have you had a couple of internships?
I'm actually currently looking at internships. I've looked at 3 internships and I have interviews with them currently going, but I haven't had one in the past yet.
So the career fair treated you well
It did.
last week?
When we did the in-person career fair 2 years ago, I walked around and I said, I'm here. I have no idea what I'm doing here, but let me get some more information. And this year, going up to some of the major companies like Omnitech, Garmin, SRAM, trying to introduce myself, try to get them to see where I am, where I'm looking at artificial intelligence, for instance. They treated me well, and I'm currently on steps with them in interview processes.
All right, thank you.
Hello, everybody. How you guys doing? Good. So last time we saw you was about 2 weeks ago. We've played a lot of volleyball since then. A week ago, last Saturday, we got back from our tournament in Aberdeen. Had a day off on Sunday. Had one day of practice before we turned around and played Black Hills at BH on Tuesday. Tough one. We really did not be us at all. And I think when it comes down to us playing great volleyball, we got to do our thing, and we weren't doing our thing at all. So really tough loss for us against BH. I mean, bottom line is like they wanted to stomp on us, and we wanted to just show up and win. And there's a difference between the two attitudes, I think. So definitely a big growth for us, learning experience. Their crowd was unreal. I don't think any of us heard what we were saying through the entire hour and a half of volleyball. But that's BH, you know. So tough match. We learned a lot. We stuck with it. We stuck with our process. We did our thing for the next 3 days. Turned around, played Western Colorado at home on Friday. I saw a lot of you there. Thank you for coming and supporting us. Our crowd was really great. We lost a tough 5-set match to a scrappy team. You know, there's things that Western does that we don't see very often in the sport of volleyball in terms of the offense they run. So for us, it was just about stopping what they were doing and inability to do so. And then, again, playing a little more like us. So we're really confident with who we are and what we're about and how we play volleyball and the process we're in. It's just about getting back to the basics and sticking with it and kind of just getting better at a few things. You know, we're a lot more talented than we have been in the past, and it's a little more than walking into a gym and just assuming you're going to win. So we're kind of getting to that point where we're making changes, and we're excited about the work we're putting in this week. I don't have anyone to bring for you today because we do individual practices on Tuesdays. which are a little more skill training, and now that we have a full week here, we're able to do that again today. So the girls are putting in a lot of work today in the gym. So we're getting back to it. We head to Colorado Mines on Friday. Colorado Mines is currently ranked 11th in the country. It's the same team we've been seeing. They really didn't graduate anybody, so we know what to expect. There's things that we have to stop, and if we play like us, we can pretty much beat anybody. I'm pretty confident in that, so it's just about being us. And then Saturday we head down to Chadron. So quick trip over to Chadron, which we love playing at Chadron. It's one of our favorite places to play at, and they're always a scrappy team, so we're in it. We're in RMAC play. It's getting fun now. But yeah, we're refreshed. We got to do yoga with our favorite yoga instructor, Maria, on Saturday morning. So we bounced back from a tough loss and woke up, did yoga with Maria, got some center in our lives, and then we headed to a brunch that was hosted by two of our biggest fans, Diane and Bill Shetter, who are in town in Rapid City. So we got some peace, and then we got some food, and we got some recovery, and that's kind of what we need to head into this week to get to work. So we're excited about it. Our kids are doing a great job. Academically, I couldn't ask for more. Two of our seniors out of our 4 seniors currently have job offers on the table, so we're very proud of them and excited for them. And I'll let them tell you about it sometime when they get to come. But yeah, we're doing good. We're looking forward to this week. After this week is over, the next 2 weeks, the first 2 weeks of October, we are home. So we look forward to being back on our home floor and seeing you guys out there. Any questions? Yeah.
So you said you need to get back to looking like yourselves.
Yeah.
What is that identity? What's it going to look like when I'm watching?
Well, it's a shame you weren't with us the first 2 weekends because it looks pretty good. Us looks very low error. It looks very high energy. It looks very repeatable. When we are playing our best volleyball, we are as repeatable as ever. Our energy is off the charts. We don't care about anyone or anything that isn't in our circle. We don't care about the outside. We don't care about who's across the net. It's just we play us. And that's, when we're centered on that, that's just like unreal. We play good volleyball. So we got a little too wrapped up this week in who we were playing as opposed to how we do things. So if we can just get back to that, we're going to be just fine. But I want you to see it too. And I'm sure that our women do as well. Yeah.
Talk about enlighten our fans on the internet and the individuals here, how critical the bench and the attitude and what the girls do when they're cheering on their teammates.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, volleyball, it's a game of energy and it's a game of momentum. And momentum swings both ways for a lot of reasons. We got 21 women on our team currently. So when you have 6 on the bench, you can do the math, or I'm sorry, 6 on the court, you can do the math. It's a lot of girls on our bench, and our bench is fantastic. They are bought in. They are insane as far as their energy and what they give to our team. I mean, they're taking stats. They're making sure that our substitutions are right. They're making sure that the cheers are on par. I mean, we have a cheer for every server, every situation, every side out scenario. It's just like, that's the game of volleyball. At every level, that's how it's played. Because it swings momentum. So right now our bench is unreal, and if you're coming to our matches, you'll find yourself probably watching them a little more sometimes, especially in timeouts, especially when we're losing a little bit, but they're a lot of fun to watch, and we're just all bought into each other, so that helps us for sure. But yeah, very proud of the team we have together. Yeah.
Can you remind me what the rules are on challenges, whether you get so many a match, etc.?
Yeah. So you get 1 per set, then you get another one in the 5th set. They're trying to change the rule where you get 2 in a match, and then if I challenge something and I'm right, I get it back. Whereas if I challenge it and I'm wrong, I lose it. So that's sort of like where the NCAA wants to go with the challenges. But right now we get a bunch, and I've never used all of them. It's tough because there's not a gym in our conference that has cameras good enough to actually see anything. We just challenge to take a break, I think. Swing momentum. But it's like, the camera that's at any gym at the end line is you're not gonna see the ball and go off a kid's finger. It's just too tough. So it is a momentum thing at this point. Sometimes we get lucky You know, I thought we lost a tough one. She should have turned over. But it's the game, it's a camera, it's whatever. So things that are out of our control. But yeah, it's fun to have them. I'll say that, because there's some gyms in our conference, some teams that don't have challenge at all, and that's tough to go from challenge to no challenge. It's, you know, the inconsistency is hard for sure. Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about your assistant coach?
Yeah, so my assistant coach, Tony, well, I got 3, but Tony is my full-time assistant. He has been unbelievable for me and this team for the past 2 years. He's been here, this is his 2nd year. He's been coaching volleyball for probably close to 30 years. He is a volleyball mind, so his mind is X's and O's and all the things when it comes to big strategy and little details and a lot of stuff. Right now he is fully responsible for our defense and passing, and we are currently the best passing team in the RMAC, so he's done a great job with that. We feel good about it, but he's got a lot of energy. If you come to our matches and watch him, he gets fired up. Good volleyball makes him excited, and bad volleyball does not make him excited, so, but he's a lot like me, I guess. But his energy has been huge for us, and his attention to detail is what makes our individuals so tough right now, especially defensively. Losing our libero, Anna Thomas, to an injury, and then having Addie step into that role so new to her, he coached her through the entire process, and so I think that's a big part of why she's been so successful. I also have 2 volunteer assistants who are unbelievable. One is from Rapid City, Annika. She runs a club here in town, and the other, Mackenzie, is doing a fellowship at the Newman Center. She played at Kansas State, and she's just fiery and knows a lot about volleyball, so we have a really good staff. I'm super lucky to be able to work with them. They bring a lot to me, they bring a lot to this team, so they're a good group for sure. Yeah.
I was encouraged by the yoga thing, and
oh yeah,
we've all heard a lot about the psychological pressure on athletes. And with our school,
yeah.
It isn't any easier.
Yeah.
Is that something the whole coaching team is being more aware of, or?
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely. I know a lot of our coaches in our head coaches circle do a lot of stuff with mental health, and I know people have dabbled in yoga, meditation. We're very creative about the way we spend days off, because days off are days off, but you know, like we had the ability to practice on Saturday morning, but practicing on Saturday morning was going to do nothing for us. It had to be about mental, it had to be about rest and recovery, but we're just going to let them like take naps, or we're going to, you know, center ourselves and have our bodies be fresh and all those things. So I think our coaching staff does a fantastic job in our athletic department with how we do those things. And the mental game is huge for us. We had an alumni, Leah Novicki, buy us an app that we use for our volleyball team. It's a volleyball specific mental training app that takes you through like visualizations based on certain skills. So like if you're an outside hitter, like you can go into the app, you click outside hitter, and there's like 14 different skills that someone talks you through. And so you close your eyes, you visualize, you do this meditation through it. So our girls consistently do that every day. We have pre-game meditation, we do post-game, win or loss, we get in the locker room together, we do it, and it's just our routine. I think it's taken us a lot of places. But yes, with the stress of academics, it's, you know, we need that training. You know, our women went to career fair all day, and then we had to get in vans and drive to BH and show up. And that team, not very easy for us, obviously, but it's a different life they live, and it's not an excuse. It's just how do we get better, and how do we combat that in a positive way, and make our women stronger or men stronger because of it. So I think we do a great job of balancing all those things, and essentially they have to put that responsibility on themselves too. Yeah. Awesome. Oh, yeah.
I have one question.
Yeah, go for it.
Maybe educate me and maybe the rest of the group when the official does this on a serve and
like I blow the whistle?
Yep.
It means out of rotation. Like,
and what does that mean?
So, in a game of volleyball, you have 6 people on the floor, right? I probably should have had a whiteboard. So, you got 3 front row players, you got 3 back row players, okay? Your 3 front row players can never be behind your 3 back row players in service. So like if I'm front row, he's back row, and my foot is behind him in serve receive as the opponent is serving, they can blow the whistle, point is dead, the opponent gets the point. It's also based on left to right. So if I'm to the right of him and we're in serve receive and my foot is to the left of him, then we're out of rotation. So you're responsible for front, back, side to side, base under rotation, which is why we stand in all weird formations every time we serve. Being out of rotation is not common. It is usually a mental lapse when you make subs and people are new. However, it does happen because your setters have to go from back row to front row to set the ball, and if they release too early, if they run past the person they're supposed to be behind before the whistle is blown, then it's point dead. The other opponent gets the point. So
Sophisticated.
one day I'll just bring you a diagram. We can go over it. Yeah, volleyball is a little interesting. But yeah, that's it. Hopefully we never do that. So thank you guys for your support, and we'll see you next week. Okay.
Volleyball 101 at its finest. I learned a lot there. It's not even bump set spike anymore. I say that and she looks at me and I'm like, well, that's how I grew up knowing it. So, on the football side of things, again, it's been 2 weeks since we saw you in person. 2 weeks ago we played here against Mayville State. Very proud of our team and how we responded, how we came out and played really fast and really took care of the game, took care of our opponent early, which was really big for us. We needed that after the week that we had before against Missouri S&T. So very proud of our kids. This past week we played down at Chadron State. Obviously when you're opening up conference play against one of the top opponents, rivalry game at their place at 6:30 at night, and it was still, I think, 89 degrees at kickoff down there. You know, it was a tough matchup. We knew that going in. Chadron was 0-2 to start the season, but they played Western Colorado, who's playing pretty well right now. They're 3-0. And then they had also played Angelo State, who was really a top 15 team going in. So their two opponents beforehand were very good. Chadron played them well, just didn't finish the game. So we knew it was going to be a challenge going in last week to play them. You know, very, very proud of our kids and how we came out. You know, we were down 10-0, but we fought back. Made it 10-7. They scored again 17-7, and then we put a drive together right before half to make it 17-13 right before half. And that was one thing we talked about at halftime is we really got to make sure, at least offensively, maximize our opportunities. I know in the first half offensively, we only had 4 possessions because we were driving the ball. They were also driving the ball. So, you know, for us, we knew we had to continue to score moving forward. You know, the second half, it was a back and forth game. We were able to get the ball. We went 3 and out, punted to them. We got the ball back with good field position, made a silly mistake, turned the ball over. And then really between that turnover and then the 95 play drive, that was really probably the one drive when you look back at the football game that really solidified, you know, that full football game. And we talked about that as a team last night. As a matter of fact, there were probably 5 or 6 plays. If you were to take those out and put them in favor of us, it's probably a completely different football game. And that's, you know, from our team's understanding of how close we are and you know, how close we can be in winning those games. But, you know, very proud of our team and how they fought. They didn't back down. You know, Chadron's got a senior-led team, especially on the offensive side of the football. I think 4 of their 5 offensive linemen are back. Or we're back, we're seniors. Their quarterback's been a 4-year starter for them as well. Got a lot of great skill. And, you know, there's some things that we need to fix on each side of the ball and special teams. But, you know, just really proud of our effort and how our kids, you know, played. And like I said, in some, you know, somewhat adverse conditions. And I thought they handled themselves really well. Again, you know, really my first kind of big road trip within the RMAC. I know it was down to Chadron, but very happy with our visitors crowd. You know, I know the volleyball team was well represented with a few basketball players down there, as well as a lot of alumni that made the trip down there. So I've played in that stadium before back in, it was 06. In a playoff game, and there was none of that stuff over there, very little. And we had a big crowd here, and I was really happy to see our alumni come out and show the support, which says a lot of good things. I think people are excited that they can get back to a little normalcy and watch games, but also just your guys' commitment to not only our football program, but our student athletes, and we really appreciate that a lot. Moving forward, it's homecoming M week, Rocker Days. I said homecoming yesterday at our team meeting, and one of our senior captains was like, Coach, we call it M week here. I'm like, all right, I'll get it fixed. And then Kyante goes, no, it's Rocker Days. And I'm like, well, which one is it? We'll get it right. So, but really excited for really my first homecoming. here as the head football coach. Last year, obviously, we did more of a practice type format because we weren't playing games yet. So, we're really excited. We talked to the team just in regards to enjoying this week. These things don't happen very often. It's the one week you can really get out and get engaged with the community, with the school, and just see all the traditions that go on with it. Obviously, our main job is to win the football game. We talked about that last night. We got one job, and that's just make sure we finish the homecoming week off with a win. It's going to be challenging, but we got a very tough opponent in CSU Pueblo. They're 1-2 right now. Coach Riston thought it would be a good idea to schedule two very tough opponents for them non-conference. They started off with Texas A&M Commerce, who started. They were, I think, 5th or 6th in the country, and then end up losing to them 12-6, and then they went up to Grand Valley State, which is another predominantly top Division II program, and lost to them in a close fashion. And then last week they ended up beating Black Hills State University for their first win at home. So, our kids know a lot about their program. They're very tough, very physical, very well coached. And we know we got a big challenge ahead of us. And, just to kind of reiterate a little bit what Lauren was talking about, we got to go back to being us. We got to focus on the fundamentals. We got to, we can't look at the team that we're going to face. We just got to think about the things that we've got to continue to fix within our program in all 3 phases of the game, which I think, is going to be big for us. We know they're going to try and maximize the most of their opportunities. Kind of, they're a huddle team, so they really try and milk the clock a little bit. So when we're on offense, we have to try and maximize our opportunities, put points on the board when we can, and defensively get those stops. So, just really excited about the opportunity to play another home game, our 3rd home game in 4 games, excuse me. I just found out this morning that all the ramp spots are completely sold out. So again, we really appreciate Hard Rocker Nation for that, and their continued support for not only our football program, but everybody else. So, a great opportunity. This would really be a big program changing win, and if we get the crowd that we know we're going to have, our kids come out and play with the same fire and intensity that we did down at Shadron, be able to play a full 60-minute game, we really like our chances and are excited for the opportunity. So with that being said, as Maria mentioned, my guest is Kyante Christian. Come on up, Kyante. Kyante is a 4th-year player for us, so he's really a junior but a senior academically. Kind of plays an outside linebacker, defensive end, kind of utility Swiss Army knife type player for us. Does a lot of great things. As Maria mentioned, he was the RMAC Defensive Player of the Week this week. He recorded 11 tackles. 4 tackles for loss and 2 sacks against Shadron this week. So I'll let you fill everybody else in.
Hey everybody, my name is Kyante Christian. I'm from Aurora, Colorado. I'm an industrial engineering and engineering management major here. What else? So kind of the reason why I chose South Dakota Mines. Originally when I got recruited, my recruiting coach was Coach O'Neill. And when he introduced the school to me, I didn't even know that there was a school in South Dakota, like South Dakota Mines, and then his whole pitch was like, we have Mount Rushmore, and I thought that was on the East Coast or something. It was all kind of like a big shock to me, kind of learned about it initially, but, coming up on my visit, I remember driving in at night, it was kind of dark, it was probably like 9 o'clock, and then I was like, man, there's not nothing out here, it's going to be like a farm or something, so I was just kind of taken aback when we kind of got over the hill, we saw the lights of just Rapid City and the school, so it was kind of just a big change for me, seeing that, and I was like, this is somewhere I feel like I can be, so that very next day I ended up committing, saying I'm going to be here for the next 4 or 5 years, so it's probably one of the best decisions I've made, honestly. There've been their challenges, things like that, but everywhere, it has that, it comes with that. So I'm just happy to be here, and I'm happy for the opportunity that I've had, and the successes, and everything else that's come with it. So that's kind of my whole story, how I got here, and you guys have any questions for me?
Just a little personal, on your industrial engineer, what kind of work are you looking for,
So I'm kind of thinking about going into occupational safety, something like that. I know a lot of people here know Dr. Kirk, Carter Kirk, so he's kind of trying to groom me into whatever he wants me to be right now. So I'm trying to just listen to him and, letting him guide me in the right direction, because I know that's what he's going to do. He has my best, interests at heart, so kind of whatever he, puts out there for me, I'm going to do to the best of my ability and just go from there.
Dr. Kirk never persuades people.
How many times have you been to Mount Rushmore now?
I've only been once, honestly. But it's kind of a funny story. So we were driving on the van, you know, doing like the whole tour of the city, and I'm just sitting in the back sleeping, and my dad just loves to talk. I know you probably met him, you met him. He just loves to talk people's heads off. So I'm sitting in the back just sleeping, and we get there, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. It was smaller than I, originally imagined. I thought it was going to be something huge, just taking up the whole side of the mountain. But, it's really nice. It is something I have to do again, kind of just take in the whole setting, enjoy my time while I'm here and, everything that comes with it. So I'll be making a trip there pretty soon again, honestly.
It is big if you get up close.
I got to help me get a little closer. They got us way back there, so get us a little closer.
Any other questions?
What are some of your favorite things about South Carolina's and your football team?
So probably some of the favorite things, can't really say Survey, some people know, but probably some of my favorite things just about here, it is a pretty small area, pretty small knit group, so getting to know people on like a very personal level has been really nice, especially just like on the team, this is probably one of the biggest teams we've had, like 112 players or so, but still, like, you're with those guys every day, you see them every day, and having like a traditional fall camp, that we didn't have last year, having it this year has really helped out. Just getting to know some of the young guys, getting to know a lot of the other guys who came last year that we didn't have that personal connection with. So building those connections has been really nice. It's just a brotherhood that, you build, and like, when you're around those guys, they become family, little brothers, big brothers, so it's always nice building those, and, you have friendships and brotherhoods for the rest of your life when you're gone from here, so. That's my favorite part about being here.
Anything else? All right, we appreciate your guys' time showing up tonight and look forward to seeing everybody at 4 p.m. on Saturday afternoon. Thank you.
I don't think I have any student athlete that's not my favorite student athlete, but truly, please give another round of applause to Kyante and Addie. They are two of the best kids when you run into them. They always have a smile on their face. They represent Hard Rocker pride, like, to the nines, and so we are just lucky to have them here. And so please give them a round of applause. So again, we're excited about this weekend. You guys, it's M Day. Bring your Hard Rocker pride, bring your voices, bring your horns, honk them loud. Let's help these Hard Rockers off to a win on Saturday night. Kickoff at 4, ramps open at 2. We'll see you on Saturday. Thanks for coming, everybody.
Did you get a chance to anybody scout?